really need to be very clear with yourself. And I think one of the best ways to do that is this notion of projecting yourself forward to age 80, looking back on your life and trying to make sure you've minimized the number of regrets you have. That works for career decisions. It works for family decisions. Do you want? I have a 14-month-old son, and it's very easy for me to, if I think about myself when I'm 80, I know I want to watch that little guy grow up. And so I don't want to be 80 and think, shoot, I missed that whole thing and I don't have the kind of relationship with my son that I wished I had, and so on and so on. So if you think about that, so I guess another thing that I would recommend to people is that they always take a long-term point of view. And I think this is something about which there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of people, and I'm just not one of them, believe that you should live for the now. I think what you do is you think about the great expanse of time ahead of you and try to make sure that you're planning for that in a way that's going to leave you ultimately satisfied.
Likely, but if productivity per capita goes up, the country's wealthier. I mean, it's that simple. So productivity gains and innovation are the key, and they largely will come from the private
his
sector.
Calendar. And,
I love this.
I had every minute packed, and I thought that was the only way you could do things. And, the fact that he is so careful about his
Can I show
time.
this to the audience? Yeah.
He has days
that there's nothing on.
that there's nothing on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm trying to show.
Some of the best ones.
And
Well, this is October.
it's very high tech. Be careful.
No,
you might not understand.
I'm going to hold. I'm not going to show.
It's like hard work, day in, day out, sacrifice, day in, day out. Just dying. This time when you run and you just want to stop, you just want to give up, like, to hell with this, I just want to go home. This day when you get up and you know what, you have a training today, you know it's going to be intense, and you're like, oh, God, I don't want to go today, but you got to go. And it's so hard, and a lot of people don't know.
You must have some kind of vision for your life. Even if you don't know the plan, you have to have a direction in which you choose to go. I never was the kind of woman who liked to get in a car and just go for a ride. I had a boyfriend who would say, let's just go for a ride. I want to know, where are we going? Do we have a destination? Is there a plan? Or are we just riding? What I've learned is that's a great metaphor for life. You want to be in the driver's seat of your own life, because if you're not, life will drive you.
What's your secret? Because you're showing no signs of slowing down, Christian.
No secrets. Don't exist secrets. The secret is dedication and hard work, to be able to work 100% all the time. This is, if exists words, this is my secret.
The hardest thing is, when you think about focusing, right? You think, well, focusing is saying yes, no. Focusing is about saying no.
Every single thing you're committed to finish that takes more than one step to finish it, you need to clarify exactly what that outcome and project is and put that on a project list that you look at least once a week.
The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's just real. At the center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline.
Challenge for the next 7 years. First 3 years and then 7. The first step for 3 years and the second step 7.
An experience for me back in 1973 is I'm sitting down with a guy named Kurt, and we're at the Holiday Inn in Lancaster, Ohio, and he asked me, he said, John, what's your plan for growth? I'm just a kid. I'm just in my 20s. I don't even know I'm supposed to have a plan for growth. I'm embarrassed because I don't have a plan for growth. And so I decided to fake it. So I told him how hard I worked. I went through this whole schedule, and I was like a plane circling the field, trying to come in for a landing. I went around and around and around. Finally, I ran out of gas and shut up and landed that sucker. And as soon as I quit, he said, looked at me, smiled. He said, you don't have a plan, do you? No. Then he said words that changed my life. He said, John, growth is not an automatic process. If you're going to grow, you're going to have to do so intentionally. That afternoon, I went back down to my house, and I sat down with my wife, Margaret, and I said, I don't know what a growth plan looks like, but I heard a guy tell me today I needed to have one.
Single trait that most accounts for your success as a player? Well, what is it?
Creo que mi gana de querer superarme siempre, de querer siempre más, de ser el crítico número uno conmigo mismo y de saber cuándo hago las cosas bien, cuándo hago las cosas mal, del trabajo.
What is the best, most efficient use of my time?
Because with better awareness, you can make better choices in the new year. With better choices, you're bound to see better results.
With me on this, yes or no? It's a different way of thinking, and I think all of you inherently have it, but if you make this ritualized, just like the things you've learned this week, they're all great, but if you don't systematize them, they'll work when you do them.
You're not going to be the best. You're not going to catch the best if you're not intentional and deliberate. And there are those of you in your space, and whatever you're trying to do, you don't even represent the best in your space, and you're still not giving 120. You're trying to catch the guy. You're trying to catch the female. That's the best. And you're waking up and giving me 70%. You're giving me 80%, but yeah, you have these dreams that you're going to be the best. How?
The longest sustaining thing which should really motivate you is that something in which you're trying to quest for something to satisfy yourself and feel good about yourself. And decide what that is and be constant to that purpose and try to work for excellence in that area.
You are 20 to 30 years old. You should follow a good boss, join a good company to learn how to do things properly. When you're 30 to 40 years old, if you want to do something yourself, just do it. You still can't afford to lose, to fail. But when you're 40 to 50 years old, my suggestion is that you should do things that you are good at, right? And not do things that, oh, that's very interesting, I want to try something new. It's a bit dangerous more. When you're 50 to 60 years old, spending time training and developing young people, the next generation. When you're over 60 years old, better stay with your grandchildren.
Find your vision and follow it. You see, I think it's the most important thing that we have a very clear vision of where we go. A goal, where do we go? Because you can have the best ship in the world. You can have the best cruise liner, but if the captain does not know where to go, that ship will drift around the world and out there at sea and will never end up anywhere. And this is exactly the way it is in real life. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a vision, you just drift around. You're not going to be happy. The simple truth is, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a goal, if you don't see your future laid out in front of you, you're just floating around without a purpose.
I always question myself in the best of times, even when I was world number one for many, many weeks and months in a row. At certain times during the year I said, what can I improve? What do I need to change? Because if you don't do anything or you just do the same thing over and over again, you stay the same. And staying the same means going backwards.
How do we stay focused day to day without losing sight of the big picture? The week is the normal lens that gives the most manageable perspective. You see, the week represents a complete patch in the fabric of life. There are work days, evenings, the weekend. It's close enough to be highly relevant, but distant enough to provide context and perspective. I mean, what you can't do in one day, you might be able to do in another. And over the course of a week, you can balance your life. If you were to ask me, what single practice would do more to balance your life and increase your productivity than any other, it would be this. Plan your week, each week, before the week begins.
Basis. Yes, I've had it all. Okay, on a relative basis, I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful husband, 2 great kids, a very tight-knit family, and an awesome job with a great team. But, you know, to get here and to stay here, I mean, lots of trade-offs, lots of sacrifices, you know, under the water, a lot of collateral damage. But I think somehow I've had the strength to power through all of that. Can you have it all? That's the big question in this definition. I think if you have the right support system, if you have an understanding spouse, if you want to be married, And if you're willing to make all the trade-offs that you need to make, you can have it all. But while you do all that, there will be heartache, there will be pain, there will be some collateral damage underneath the surface. You've got to live with it.
This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one, in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Secondly, in your life's blueprint, you must have, as a basic principle, the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. Once you discover what it will be, set out to do it, and to do it well. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Finally, in your life's blueprint must be a commitment to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. Well, life for none of us has been a crystal staff, but we must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, but by all means, keep moving.
After nearly 90 years of life, it is time for new heads to lift the burdens. It is in your hands now